Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Today is Tuesday, April 28th, and we'll be studying today the continuation for our study from yesterday regarding Masaaki-sama's message, regarding Johrei, and of course regarding coronavirus. So I will continue the reading as part of our study. And please, let's all, if you can have the same material, let us study together. Regarding Kyoshu-sama's guidance on Johrei, I previously said the following. So Masaaki-sama, his study regarding Kyoshu-sama's message, he came to the conclusion he's sharing now. Kyoshu-sama is saying that the hand that we raise for Johrei is not the only hand of Johrei. It is the hand of God that is within us. Isn't that the true hand of Johrei? The light of God illuminates us, and He is constantly using our hearts and minds in His divine work of salvation. He is using any kind of thought and feeling. No matter what kind of thoughts and feelings we may have, God is enveloping them with His light and welcoming them into His heaven. Kyoshu-sama is saying that this is the true Johrei. True Johrei is the Johrei that God is always performing within us, and that God is using our thoughts and our feelings. And we are surrendering all this back to God. And this act of surrendering and being received by God in heaven is the true act of Johrei. When I myself, when I think, Meishu-Sama was raising hands, we were raising hands, and Jesus, many miracles, Jesus was also posing His hand. But also, many things happen without the use of the hand. I don't know if you remember when Reverend Watanabe's mother, she was ill, and Reverend Watanabe's father was close by her, and she passed away. That moment, the communication got into Meishu-Sama, speed. And Meishu-Sama said, Watanabe's wife can die. He said something. And that moment, she came up and back to life. If you think about it, at that moment, Meishu-Sama did not raise his hand. And I believe what Meishu-Sama did it as a mediator between God and her. Meishu-Sama surrendered all that. That's what I believe. So when we are talking about raising or not raising the hand of Johrei, I know it's a big deal. I completely understand that. And that's why we are studying this today. Okay? Let's continue. We channel Johrei, don't we? Is the hand we raise at the time our own hand? Or is the hand of God? Which one is it? So when we are raising our hand, what hand? Whose hand is that? Is that God's hand? Is it God just using my hand? Because if God is using my hand, it is actually God's hands. At least that's what it's supposed to be. If it is God's hand, is there a time that God's not raising His hand? Is there a time when God is not channeling Johrei? Is there a moment The God is not watching us, sending us His light, His boundless blessings. God is always raising His hand of Johrei to us. I believe that there is no such time, not even a moment. God is always, at any time, channeling Johrei to us, within us. He enwraps everything that we feel and think with His hands and welcome us into His heaven. Enwrap, right? Enwrap, it's like wrapping. God is enwrapping our feelings, our thoughts, all of us. And so, God is always channeling Johrei to us, to all of humanity, within each and every one of us. How wonderful this is. Johrei, the center of Meishu-Sama's divine work, the center of salvation. This Johrei is always taking place within all people. Truly, what a wonderful blessing this is. Kyoshu-sama is teaching us that even if we cannot raise our hands for Johrei, God is always channeling Johrei within each and every one of us, and that through our thoughts and feelings, our sonin, we can serve in that work. In other words, by offering our various human thoughts and feelings to God, we can serve in the divine work of salvation of Johrei. That's why everything, remember, everything we see, we hear, we feel, and we think. We can, we should, we must, in the name of Messiah, which is one with Meishu-Sama, always be surrendering that. This in itself, it is also an act of Johrei. While there are people who receive Kyoshu-sama's messages regarding Johrei as it is, there are people who oppose it. In some cases, we hear things like, Kyoshu-sama is denying the Johrei by which we raise our hand, the most important thing for a follower of Meishu-Sama. Exactly what relationship do Johrei and sonin have with each other? Even if we surrender our thoughts and feelings, nothing changes. And it is precisely the Johrei where we raise our hands that is the true Johrei, the only way to save people. And actually, haven't we, within each one of us, had these kinds of thoughts and feelings, even if only little? To tell you the truth, I'm not an exception, and for this I deeply apologize to Kyoshu-sama, even myself too. As I said at the beginning, at the present moment, due to the influence of the novel coronavirus infection, people around the world are challenged to avoid human contact, to keep a distance of 2 meters. What if you were to oppose Kyoshu-sama's messages, asserted to the true Johrei was the Johrei of raising one's hand and that it brings salvation to humanity? If we were to believe in that, wouldn't we have to raise up now, ignore the ban of coming in contact with people, and move to expel the virus through the miracles of Johrei? Wouldn't now be the time we have to materialize our opposing thoughts toward Kyoshu-sama's messages in a concrete way? Since we have to keep a distance from each other, all right? And nobody ever taught us about sonin Johrei or about sonin, all right? and we have to be close by. We have to be like 3 inches apart to give Johrei. How will we do it? If we neglect what Kyoshu-sama is teaching us. Or more specifically, instead of channeling Johrei at the usual 1 meter or so, 3 inches or so distance, would we even say to make it 2 meters? In this case, since the usual distance has doubled, does that mean that the power of Johrei is reduced by half? Remember when we learned that Johrei is like a flashlight. You get close, the light is stronger, you move apart, the light is wider but it's weaker, it's not so strong. Do you remember that? When you think in this way, does the power further decrease at a 3 meter distance? What about 4 meters? 5 meters? As the distance grows, does the power of Johrei weaken accordingly? Or if 2 of you are in the same room, regardless of how far apart you are, is the power of Johrei the same? If you are in different rooms, does the power weaken? If you are in the same house, is the same? What about your neighbor? Does the light of Johrei reach them? The next town, the next city, then the next state, then the next country? Can the light reach them? Can it reach someone on the other side of the earth? If it does reach them, can we just raise the hand of Johrei in all directions, alone in a room? We have to think very carefully about what raise the hand means. How about this? In the case that the situation continues for another year, where gatherings and human contact are limited, are we really going to say, Meishu-Sama's divine work of Johrei stopped for a year? What if it continues 2 years or 3 years? Even if this matter with the novel coronavirus ends, the same situation caused by different virus and the like may occur in the near future. In the case the human contact is to be limited, are we really going to say we cannot carry out the work of Johrei? What are we going to say? Even some people, they neglect this guidance from Kyoshu-sama. Even some of them now are doing Johrei through the internet. So what is the difference? I believe what Kyoshu-sama is teaching us is really the Johrei that Meishu-sama wanted. And then we're going to study this tomorrow. That Meishu-sama wanted. And not just that. The Johrei Kyoshu-sama is teaching us is the Johrei for this moment. This specific moment that God wants us. Is Meishu-sama's divine work, his sacred Johrei, something that can no longer be carried out because of restrictions of human behavior? It is really such a small scale thing like that? We who are under Kyoshu-sama can clearly say that is absolutely not so. Why? It is because Kyoshu-sama has shown us that the true hand of Johrei is the hand of God that is within each one of us, and that this God's divine work of Johrei does not stop, not even for a moment, not even if you're not close by. The hand of God is always, always blessing and purifying us. We just need to surrender all the thoughts, all the feelings back into God's hands. Again, I know all of this might seem very new for many of us. And as even for Masaaki-sama he shared in the beginning, it might be not a easy way or an easy thing to think about it. But I ask you again, let us open our hearts and receive this true gospel from heaven as ones who have already been purified and saved and forgiven. I wish you a great day, and tomorrow we will study some of from a part of a diary from a secretary from Meishu-Sama. He shared something regarding Meishu-Sama Johrei before he passed away. So let's keep it in touch for tomorrow morning. Thank you very much. I wish you a great Tuesday, and may the light of God and may God's glory be with all of you. Thank you.